Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be discussing the Jordan 4 Red Thunder, also known as the Jordan 4 Crimson Red. Specifically, we will be discussing some release info, how to cop, and of course, some resale predictions at the end of the video. The Jordan 4 Red Thunder releases on January 15th. Retail is $190 for men's sizes, $140 for grade school, $80 for preschool, and $70 for toddler. Stock between all sizes combined worldwide is just over 130,000 pairs, which is just slightly above average for a Jordan 4. We already saw 15,000 pairs of which already dropped through exclusive access on Nike Sneakers US alone, and 2,000 of the grade school pairs in the same manner. Regarding resale, we will cover that towards the end of the video, as always. With the release info out of the way though, let's jump right into how to cop these Jordan 4 Red Thunders. Specifically, for this how to cop, we'll be going in chronological order, along with exactly how to efficiently manage your time and set up for this drop, since a lot is going to be going on at once. Prior to discussing the first come first serve drops though, make sure to follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and Personals for You for any urgent updates on these, such as the exclusive access drop and when I tweet out the full site list, of course. Also, please make sure that you do not forget to sign up for the Flex app reservations. This is one of the best ways to get pairs, as well as asking your local foot stores about their procedure for leftover pairs. And now, in addition to the in-store reservations, as you guys should know by now, there are now online reservations too that allow shipping to you. However, if you do have the ability to pick up in-store, I'd strongly suggest that over the online shipping, unless your area in particular is extremely densely populated, like New York City is, for example, as your chance of winning will often be higher for in-store, so just keep that in mind. Now, moving on to the online first come first serve sites, we'll start with the US sites in chronological order, then go to the Europe sites afterwards. At 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we may be seeing Undefeated drop, unless they do announce the drop for 11 a.m. Eastern Time, which they have been doing for some recent drops. Before this time, make sure you are signed into your Undefeated account, as it is required for this site to check out. Be ready to solve a checkpoint captcha as well. If you don't have access to a Shopify monitor, you could try refreshing the search page for AJ4, but your chances of copying will be very slim, unfortunately. Now, moving on to the confirmed 10 a.m. Eastern Time drops, it's where the actual fun begins, as you guys should know. Since there's a lot to focus on, I'm going to guide you and suggest to you how to efficiently manage your time as usual. First, I would suggest going for Hibbett as your first come first serve choice at exactly 10 a.m. Eastern Time, since Hibbett will be one of those that does sell out quickly. This is what we've been suggesting recently, and it's been going very well, so we won't change this just yet. You might get the press and hold captcha loop, so just some tips to prevent that loop and get out of it. Just like we discussed in our prior how to cop guide, go to the coming soon page on the Hibbett calendar right before 10 a.m. Eastern Time, click on the Jordan 4, then scroll down slowly until you see the sizes. Now, if you scroll too quickly, you'll often end up getting caught inside that perimeter X captcha loop, unfortunately, so the key here is just to scroll rather slowly. My biggest advice in general, however, is to use Apple Pay on your mobile device for the most efficient checkout. Or, as an alternative to Hibbett, you could also choose one or two Shopify sites to focus on at exactly 10 a.m. Eastern Time as well, since those will also be some sites that sell out the quickest. If I had to choose two for you guys, I'd normally suggest Shop Nice Kicks and Shoe Palace, since they tend to get pretty high stock. They have a checkpoint as well, but it appears as of right now they do not have the men's pairs loaded, unfortunately, but again, that's at least as of right now. Maybe this will change. Hence, instead, I'd suggest focusing on DTLR in that case, or Jimmy Jazz as your alternative, since they do have the men's sizes listed. Kith should also be dropping as well, but I'd strongly suggest these two sites over Kith. In conclusion, your 10 a.m. first come first serve site should still be Hibbett, but if you did want alternatives, there you go. Now, right after those first come first serve drops are over, or even while you're waiting in the Shopify queue, I want you guys to try to enter as many sneakers accounts into the drop as possible. This is going to be your #1 chance by far for copying these, of course, due to how much stock is allocated here. Now, what's the most efficient way to cop off of Nike sneakers manually? Well, these are currently loaded as a Leo at the moment, but it could potentially change to a Dan drop as we do approach the release. Leo drops essentially are just draws disguised as first come first serve drops, but you actually have about 2 to 3 minutes to get in as many accounts as possible. On the other hand, Dan drops, also known as draws, you essentially have 10 minutes to enter in as many accounts into the raffle as possible. Evidently, in either case, the more you can enter within that period, the better your chances will be. That's just simple probability. Although, again, at the moment, these are loaded as a Leo drop, and I'll let you guys know if anything does change. Either way, I actually made a full in-depth video, which I'd highly highly suggest watching because there is much more to it when it comes to Nike sneakers. If you guys do need to make more accounts, remember that Nike does require SMS verification, and you can't use the same phone number twice, so you will have to ask a friend of yours to use their phone number and ask them for the verification code. However, if you rather not bother your friends, or you just want a significant amount of pre-verified Nike sneakers accounts, feel free to check out my website TARS. The link for that is in the description below for pre-verified Nike sneakers and Adidas accounts. After sneakers, you'll normally want to shift your focus onto periodically checking Finish Line, JD Sports, Snipes, and in this case, DSG to see if you have past Q. But like many recent drops, Finish Line may be doing exclusive access, and if that does occur, I will be tweeting out on my Twitter, of course, so make sure you are following there, just like I did for the Patent Jordan 1 bread. So there's a good chance that no stock will drop on the release date, but we'll have to see, because on the calendar right now, it doesn't explicitly say exclusive access, which it has for those prior drops that I was referring to, so we might actually see some stock on the release. We'll see though. As of right now, Snipes and DSG should definitely drop though, and those are definitely going to be possible manual shots, especially on DSG. If you pass Q manually on Snipes, it's definitely possible manually there, but passing Q is the hard part. In Gargantua AIO and Endurance, we get bypass links, so it's often a manual cookout for us, but it's still possible to pass naturally as well. Make sure you do follow the Endurance and Gargantua AIO Twitters if you are interested in restocks, however. As of now, Snipes does not have them loaded on the calendar as usual before the drops, but I do expect them to load closer to the drop as it usually is. DSG will definitely be a good manual opportunity as well, at least compared to the other sites. I always normally see a good amount of success manually off DSG, so be sure you do take advantage and try your best on this website. You can also try your best carding on foot sites in between this, but just keep in mind it's mostly just going to be a fruitless endeavor. You'll really never end up copying off foot sites because, especially recently, with all the stock being allocated to the shipping for the Flex app reservations, now there's even less stock releasing through the online releases, which is just making it that much more difficult, so don't expect anything from here. Make sure to set up the tabs for these sites beforehand. You should set them up as soon as you see my account or personals for you tweet out the links. This way, they're already ready to go and waiting in queue after sneakers. Just keep in mind that copying manually off foot sites is near impossible, but Snipes is certainly very possible. That will conclude it for the US sites. Now moving on to Europe sites. Although many Europe retailers are doing raffles, there are still some first come first serve drops to prepare for. Just keep in mind that retail is slightly higher for Europe, which of course will hinder the ROI, but it's okay. We'll talk about resale later. It's not that much of a big deal when it comes to these because the demand on these is absolutely insane. The best drop for Europe would be Nike sneakers, of course, at 9 a.m. CET. These are currently loaded as a Leo drop for Europe as well, although it could definitely change to a draw, which we discussed earlier. Now, since this isn't a draw as of right now, and it is a Leo drop, that means you have less time to enter in all your accounts, so I definitely prioritize this at 9 a.m. CET, but also, it's extremely likely that Soulbox and Snipes will be dropping at 9 a.m. CET as usual, and those will definitely be first come first serve, so you'll want to try to shift your focus onto there as well and try your best to cop as soon as possible. But if you can't, just head on over to the sneakers because obviously those two sites will be filled with errors in the PX capsule loop. Zalando and Courier should also be dropping, but they have not loaded them just yet, as usual, of course. Then Offspring may potentially drop too. For Offspring, I would suggest enabling post notifications for their Instagram, as they do always post on their story when it does go live. They normally do not drop around 9 a.m. whenever they do drop, so no need to focus on there at exactly 9 anyway. Foot Locker should also be dropping, but either way, Foot Locker is definitely going to be a pretty bad drop as usual, so don't count your chickens on this website. That will be it for the how to cop portion of the guide. With the how to cop out of the way, now let's move on to the resale predictions. First of all, stock on here is just hardly above average stock for Jordan 4, nothing unordinary when it comes to this. On the other hand though, we have some pretty incredible demand on these. Although not quite at the same scale as the Jordan 1 Patent Bread or the Cool Grays, the high sale volume on these at this current pre-sale is immensely impressive, especially given that we're a whole week out from the drop and we're already seeing sales like this. The bids are definitely very high as well, especially for Jordan 4, of course. On top of this, the retail on these is only $190 rather than $200, or even the $225 that we've seen on the Lightning, so of course this is ideal for the margin. With all that said, these are looking to be very profitable with a good margin with or without tax. Full throttle on these for sure. Bigger sizes will be the best. As for the grade school pairs, I do feel that there is a lunch money opportunity with a decent margin on these, mostly on sizes 6 to 7. Overall, we have a great drop to look forward to, and I definitely need a pair for the toe. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Anyway, that'll conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're always 100% updated on all hyped releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies and pre-verified Nike, sneakers, or Adidas accounts. Also, feel free to follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up to progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Personals for you. This way you guys stay updated on all the urgent info like I was discussing today. With that though, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck on this release.